Hey, it's me. Listen, before we get started, I wanted to jump in and let you know that while I have designed this episode to work as an audio-only show, there is a YouTube version that includes graphics in a slideshow type format to help you follow along. So you can either keep listening on your favorite podcast app as you usually do, or you can click the link in the show notes to go to the YouTube version. Thanks. Hi there. This is the Eat Your Greens with Dr. Black podcast. I'm Dr. Black. I'm a board-certified pediatrician and a lifestyle medicine physician. I started this podcast with a simple mission: to empower my patients, their families, and listeners like you to take control of your health. I believe that small, intentional changes in how we eat and live can make a world of difference in preventing chronic disease and improving our overall well-being. My goal is to give you the tools you need to turn knowledge into action in your everyday life. Today's episode is all about something I know that many of us struggle with, including myself, and that's how to plan, shop for, and prepare healthy meals without feeling completely overwhelmed. I'm going to let you in on a little secret. I am just like you. Let me tell you, life is busy, right? And finding time to cook at home is often super challenging. To be honest, I don't love meal prep either. Chopping those vegetables ahead of time feels like a chore to me. But I have learned some strategies that will make the process simpler, faster, and way less stressful. And I'm going to share them with you today. I used to think that meal prepping was all about hard work, but it turns out it's really just about working smarter. If you're like me and the idea of spending hours on the weekend chopping onions literally and figuratively brings tears to your eyes, then this episode is for you. In this episode, I'll walk you through tips for creating a weekly menu, making grocery shopping more efficient, and prepping ahead without feeling like you are chained to the kitchen. The best part? These strategies will actually free up more of your time during the week and may even save you money because you'll already have a game plan in place. My goal is to make healthy eating doable and help you feel less stressed along the way. First, a word about time and money. If you're like me, it seems like there's never enough of either. And it's often true that you have to spend one to save the other. For example, you can save money by cooking your meals at home, or you can save time by going out to eat. But it's definitely true that those home-cooked meals are going to be much healthier for you than anything that you get in a package or at a restaurant. Your health is worth the investment of your time, and I want you to prioritize it. I hope that by utilizing some of the tips I'm going to share today, you'll not only be able to save money, but also time. And most importantly, you'll be able to feed your family and yourself healthy, nourishing meals. Now, to get started, the first thing I recommend is that you have a family meeting. Include everyone in the family in the discussion and talk about what changes you're making and why you're making them. Next, take a look at your kitchen. What do you already have in your pantry and freezer? This is not only going to help you save time at the grocery store because you're not buying duplicate items, but it gives you a nice opportunity to go through and organize your kitchen for efficiency. Throw out anything that's old or expired or that just doesn't align with your goals. Take a look at what appliances you own. What do you have that can streamline meal prep and help you save time and energy? Next, take a look at your family's schedule for the week. What's going on? When is the best time to shop? When do you have time to meal prep? And what days do you think you'll be able to cook? There may be days when your schedule is packed and you're going to need something that's either pre-made or a snack that you can take on the go. By taking a look at your schedule in advance, you're going to be able to come up with the best plan for the week. Last, I know there are people out there who don't like leftovers, but I'm going to encourage you to change that mindset. Leftovers are a great way to save time and energy later in the week. Utilizing leftovers also helps to reduce food waste, and that's going to save you money in the long run. Next, we're going to drill down on how to plan a weekly menu. Start off by thinking about your family's favorite recipes and have a list of 3 or 4 of them on hand that you can include in the rotation over time. Also, use the internet to find new recipes. This will give you more variety, which is important for overall health. Let the kids help select recipes to help encourage them to try new things. When you're picking your recipes for the week, try to pick things with overlapping ingredients to help streamline meal prep. Look for recipes that are either one-pot dishes or sheet pan meals, or things that use those appliances that you already have, like, say, a slow cooker or an air fryer. Last, I encourage you to use some kind of meal planning tool to help make this process more efficient. I like to use an app that I have on my tablet called Plan to Eat. I can either enter my family recipes by hand, or I can import recipes from my favorite food blog directly into the app. Once you have your meal plan developed for the week, it's time to build your grocery list. Keep a master list of items that you purchase frequently, and then you can just add what you need for the week to that. When you get to the store, start at the periphery where you're going to find all that great fresh produce and other whole foods. And then head over to the aisle that has the dried beans and grains. Next, check out the frozen vegetable aisle. Honestly, knowing how to navigate your grocery store is great, but the real time saver that I encourage people to use is, if your grocery store offers it, use their online ordering app and curbside pickup. Now, let's move on to streamlining meal prep. Take a look at your recipes and determine what ingredients you need, and then gather them all together on the counter, along with your knives, your graters, all the containers you need. This saves you time by allowing you to just grab anything that you need right then. Recruit helpers. The more people involved in the process, the faster it will go. Of course, if children are helping, make sure they're doing so in a safe and age-appropriate manner. Anything that's a repeating ingredient throughout the recipes, you can batch prep in advance. Another trick is to take things that you know you're going to use in the future and prep extra. For example, it's not going to take you much more time to chop 2 onions than it will 1. You can then freeze the extra onion and just grab it next week. Last, make sure that you have the right size and quantity of containers. Try to avoid using plastic if possible and buy glass containers. You can find these online, in local stores, or at thrift shops or garage sales. I developed a sample 1-week meal plan for you, and I'm going to give you a few simple tricks to help you get started with efficient meal prep. You can find all the recipes that I'm talking about today with detailed instructions for advanced prep in the show notes, along with a free printable meal planning tool, or, if you'd prefer, a link for 20% off the Plan to Eat app. For those of you listening to the audio-only version rather than watching on YouTube, here's the menu for the week. For breakfast, we're doing overnight oats, egg muffins, and smoothies. For lunch, we've got some grain bowls and hummus sandwiches. And then for dinner, there's roasted vegetable pilaf, spaghetti, and delicious warming soup. The key to making this week of recipes work is the roasted vegetables. The trick is to roast all of the vegetables in advance on several sheet pans, and then you can easily incorporate them into the recipes throughout the week. I love doing this because of the magic that occurs during the roasting process. You can use whatever vegetables you like, from root vegetables like sweet potatoes and carrots to a variety of squash, although I think personally the winter squash like butternut works best. Also, green vegetables like broccoli and Brussels sprouts work great, and even eggplant, mushrooms. The sky's the limit. Use your imagination. You'll be amazed. The transformation in taste is incredible. So I'm going to challenge you to an experiment. Are you one of those people that hates asparagus? I think this is probably because you've only ever had mushy, soggy, bland, canned or steamed asparagus. Instead, try tossing it with a little extra virgin olive oil and just some salt and pepper, and then you either roast it in the oven or grill it. Do a side-by-side comparison, and I guarantee you will come away with a new love for asparagus. I do this challenge with my patients in the office, and it's amazing, but I have actually converted some veggie-hating kids into broccoli eaters or asparagus eaters just with this simple trick. So going back to our meal prep, the next step is to chop all the aromatics. That's that onion, garlic, bell pepper, stuff like that. Chop those in advance. And just like I said before, don't forget to chop extra and freeze for next week. If you like spicy peppers like jalapeno or habanero, you can chop those in advance and freeze them in ice cube trays. You can just pop one out to add a quick blast of heat to your next meal. And the same technique goes for your grains. For these recipes, we're using wild rice, but pretty much any grain works well, and grains freeze beautifully, so be sure to cook extra and freeze them for your next meal. A couple other points. I really like the overnight oats for advanced meal prep because you can line up a bunch of mason jars or repurposed old spaghetti sauce jars, whatever you have. Add all of the dry ingredients in advance, and you can do this to a bunch of jars and then just put them in the pantry where they will keep for weeks. Then, the night before you're ready to eat them, you just grab a few jars, add the milk and berries, and put them in the fridge overnight. And voila, you have a quick, healthy breakfast. For the smoothies, I like to freeze individual portions of the greens and berries ahead of time. And then in the morning, I just dump it in the blender along with the protein powder, the seed blend, and also whatever liquid base you're using. And it's ready to go. That way you don't have to do all the chopping the morning of. All right, so that's it. We have a full week worth of delicious, healthy meals that are ready to go when you get home from work, when you're exhausted, it's after school, the kids have all their homework. All you have to do is throw them together and serve, and everybody's happy. Not only that, but when kids are involved in the planning and cooking process, they're more likely to want to try new foods. Once you get the hang of it, you'll find that it's second nature. You're going to be able to have healthy, home-cooked meals that align with your health goals, and you'll free up more of your time during the week, reduce stress, and save money by eating out less, all at the same time. It's a win for everyone. For more details on how these meals come together for the week, be sure to click the links in the show notes. If you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe. That way you'll get an email every time I release a new episode. Thanks for listening, and don't forget to eat your greens.